we didn't realize that the smuggler was armed, and he actually looks at us and catches us filming him. So he immediately grabs his gun and starts screaming at us in Spanish, like, "Who are you? Why are you filming this?" And he basically was like about to shoot us. And basically he was like, "Give me your phones right now." And what happened with me personally, man, was because basically this guy started to shoot me and my cameraman. Is my mind did go into fight or flight mode. So it went into flight, and within milliseconds, my mind decided, and the way that I rationalized it was, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn around. I'm not going to give this guy my phone, and I'm going to run back to the U.S. border wall. So that's just another day. That's a whole other world with the fentanyl stuff. And the thing that I try to touch on too, man, with my marijuana cartel stuff is, the same folks who are operating these illegal marijuana grows, they're into the fentanyl trafficking too. This marijuana is another lane of profits for them. So that's something to kind of to remember. So it's oh man, it's a super sad story. I still speak to the mother daily, and we always when we have the chance, man, we always want to highlight Jordan's story and get out there, because millions of Americans are going through it every day.
Absolutely, man, and I love that. Oh man, last question, dude. You're working on the border topic. There's a lot of cartel stuff. Have you yet been threatened for reporting on some of those topics you do?
So when we did the marijuana stuff, we were approached by an armed cartel gamer. We were stopped, and then we had to play completely stupid way. Oh, we're looking for real estate property. And so we were let go. So that was the first kind of scary scene, because we're in the middle of a document, and also we're in the middle of nowhere. So the guy from the 80s just blew our head off, and no one would even know, no one would probably find our bodies. There we got into a car chase, or a cartel member from an illegal marijuana grower. It's like they were in the middle of this documentary filming, and he chased us. And the only reason we were saved on that chase was we were getting chased on the dirt. Because we were like in the middle of the desert. And then when we finally hit the highway, the only thing that actually saved us that day was, thank God, is there was a company filming a TV commercial in the middle of the desert on this highway. And because they were filming a TV commercial, you have to have law enforcement at the end of that highway, just making sure regular traffic isn't hitting it. So we just, the driver at that time just immediately beelined into the cop, did like this crazy U-turn. The cop thought we were running up on him. And we're like, no, we're going to chase out this cartel number, whatever. So those were my two instances with the documentary. My closest one was, it was October 2021, and we were in Yuma, Arizona. And I remember we were in this area on the Colorado River, where like Border Patrol agents in the past told us that, like, hey man, just letting you know, like, we wouldn't go that deep in this area, because they're like, these guys are armed that always go through here, and they're like, and us agents, like, even we do not spend time. So when he says that, like, obviously you don't want to be there, for like the way that my journalism mind works is like, okay, this is exactly where we need. So basically we like this spot, man, because the thing is we would film up with our cameras, and we would actually get smugglers bringing groups of migrants. But what made it interesting was the smugglers would take the payment right there. So like basically they would get the migrant right to like the borderline of that Colorado River, and then they would turn to the migrants, and the migrants would actually pay them cash. So for video, it looks great. Like, hey, like, this is actually really happening. And then it's real powerful video when you see a smuggler getting paid by migrants. And I mean, right then and there, and they would receive phones and stuff. And I remember one day we're there. It was like the very first thing we did. It was like 7 a.m. So we say that we position our cameras. We were going to wait for the guy, whatever. But what kind of caught my attention was the smuggler was only bringing up one individual, which normally would have been just the smuggler would be in groups. And that one individual had a huge, big black backpack, massive. So as I walked into the line, we didn't realize that the smuggler was armed, and he actually looks at us and catches us filming him. So he immediately grabs his gun and starts screaming at us in Spanish, like, "Who are you? Why are you filming this?" And he basically was like about to shoot us. And basically he was like, "Give me your phones right now." And what happened with me personally, man, was because basically this guy started to shoot me and my cameraman. Is my mind did go into fight or flight mode. So it went into flight, and within milliseconds, my mind decided, and the way that I rationalized it was, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn around. I'm not going to give this guy my phone, and I'm going to run back to the U.S. border wall. I'm going to leave it up to the smuggler. I'm going to put the ball in his court if he wants to shoot me from the back and then make this a scene. Because basically right now he's just basically the top. He's basically starting to kill us because we're right there on the are basically in Mexico. So I remember these guys throwing us whatever, and everything happened in the millisecond. I start turning around and I start running back. And early I was running back to the border now. I kept thinking to myself, I said, at any second, you're gonna feel a burning sensation on your back. At any second. And the thing is, I was panicking, like, because you're also panicking. So I remember I was running. And ended up losing control. I ended up just eating shit, dude. In front of the smugglers, I ate shit. I get up and got, like, your mind's not even thinking. And I run up and I finally get to the U.S. border wall. We had 2 other colleagues with us. And they flipped out. Oh, aren't you okay? And just saw that happen. And are you fine? I was like, dude, that was insane. And I was like, man, that was like a ride of fun. So what they did, man, is I went back to the video, and anyone who was interested could grab my Instagram post, go back to October 2021. There's a photo of it. So I go back to the video. And I take a screenshot of him with the smuggler with the gun like that. Take a screenshot. I sent the photo to my buddy Julio Rosas, who's also a great border reporter, Julio Rosas. And I sent it to him, and I sent it to Bill Malaysian of Fox News. So Julio, his reaction was, all right, man, if you're going to post it, blur his face. Bill Malaysian was like, dude, expose that dude. Like, don't blur it. Just go hard. So I go on Twitter. I put the story of what happened to us, post a guy with no blur. And it goes like mega viral. So I get here, I go on TV the next day talking about it, but it went mega viral. So then the next day we go back to not exactly that spot, but just in the vicinity. And a border patrol agent was driving by, and he does like a double take. Like, he looks at me, he looks back at his phone, he looks at me, he goes like, hey man, were you that reporter guy that like that threatened armed smuggler guy? And I was like, yeah, that was me. He's like, bro, he's like, thank you for posting his face. He's like, this morning, I wish, like, he's like, the whole U.S sector had a meeting about this. He's like, we're sending our to that the tactical name, but it was like your guys is like border or something. It was like a tactical group of border patrol. He said that they
or BORTAC.
That's the guy who said. So he said, we're sending a BORTAC unit, and we're just gonna patrol this like smuggling around for like the next few days. He's like, so that he was basically saying like, basically, man, you just lost these guys like thousands of bucks every day because we're gonna shut this lane down for at least like the next week. We want to have a presence after we saw what happened with you. And then he's like, if I were you, he's like, get out of Yuma, Arizona, because these guys are going to be so pissed at, they're, pissed at you. And, we did that the next day. We ended up leading Yuma, Arizona. But that man right there was like super close call.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard me talk about Firecracker Farm and their hot salt. You probably heard other people talk about it as well. If you haven't tried it yet, let me just tell you, you're missing out on some serious flavor. Their hot salt is delicious, and it really makes pretty much anything that you put it on even more delicious. It's hot, but when you use it in moderation, it's not too hot, and the flavor that it adds enhances without overpowering. It is handmade, super premium, and comes in awesome stainless steel push-button grinders like the one I have in my hand right here. You can take them anywhere. Hot sauce, if you've had this experience, can very easily overpower other flavors and always runs out quickly when it's good. Hot salt lasts and lasts. The push grinder holds over 500 plus pumps, and when you consider the refill it comes with, it's thousands of servings, and it's a great deal and a lot cheaper than the sauce. For those of you that like flavor but hesitate because it might be too hot, you can mix it with sea salt to tone it down and still enjoy the awesome flavor. In my personal experience, you can modulate how much comes out of the dispenser. You're in total control of the amount of heat you serve yourself. So if you would like to support our show and give Alex and his family business a shot, head over to firecracker.farm and use the code Ironclad to get a 15% discount on your first order. You will be very glad that you did. Firecracker.farm.